Hi, we're here with Elizabeth from Perfect Moms, and we love having Elizabeth in our LYNQ kitchen.
Thanks for having me again. I'm so excited when you guys invite me back. I really like cooking with LYNQ and
You're like a
own kitchen.
She's like a usual.
She's a natural chef.
Yeah, you really are. You really are a natural chef.
And she really does use LYNQ.
I do. I actually love it.
time.
I have a very picky eater at home, and my husband and my son. And so I sneak this into everything that I possibly can because it really gets the vitamins and nutrients into them using natural ingredients, which I find is so important. You know, they don't want to eat the shiitake mushrooms, so I can sneak it in this way. So today we're going to be making sweet and sour meatballs.
Right.
We're going to use Empowdered because it's one of my favorite ones, actually, because it's so versatile. It can go into anything. There's no flavor behind it. It mixes really well into everything, so you put it in the meatballs and not worry about it. What's fun about the Empowdered is if you forget to put it in your meatballs, then you can just add it to the sauce if you wanted to, too. So whichever one you...
Because it doesn't affect the flavor.
It doesn't affect the flavor, and it mixes really well, so it doesn't really matter whatever you're comfortable with. So we're going to start with a pound of ground beef. You can use veal, you can use whatever it is that you want. We're going to use 1 egg. I was so worried I was going to get shell. That's fun. You're going to do 2 tablespoons of dried onion. You can use whatever you want. You could use 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You can use as much as you want going towards your flavor. I don't really like salt, so I don't put salt in. And some breadcrumbs that you buy actually already has seasoning in it.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you have seasoned breadcrumbs, don't add anything. But if not, then you can add salt. I like to add pepper just to give it a little bit of something.
So how much pepper are you...
You know what? If you were going to crack, if you had like a pepper mill, you would just crack, 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 done.
Okay, so,
Okay.
it's
So
like
whatever
a
you're
touch.
comfortable with, like a touch, nothing more than that. After that, we're going to add a cup of breadcrumbs. See, I think these have salt in it already too. If you look, you can see like there's little bits of salt. So if you were to add extra salt, you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I see
If you
it.
were to add extra salt, you would just, it wouldn't even be palatable. It wouldn't be good anymore.
Right. So how much breadcrumbs did we put in?
So it's 1 cup of breadcrumbs. And this is actually a drier meatball. Like if you were to be adding to make hamburgers or whatever, it would be a little bit more wet. This we wanted a little bit more dry, which is why it's so much breadcrumb. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the Empowdered LYNQ. You can add less, you can add more, whatever you're feeling. And the one thing that is optional, that you can or you don't necessarily have to do, is add flax. So I add flax because, again, I like to sneak food into my family. Flax are really high in omega-3s.
Right.
And so I add it. You can add a tablespoon, you can add a teaspoon, you can add whatever you want. I happen to add 2 tablespoons of flax.
Ground
and then
flaxseed.
Ground flaxseed. Yeah, you don't want the whole seeds. Can you imagine? No. Ground flaxseed for sure.
And now you're just mixing
You mix it
everything all together.
Yeah, again, if you have older kids, my kids are young, so I wouldn't have them do this yet, but when they get older, I'll have them for sure do this. Just have them mix it up. It's fun, you can get dirty. And then what you're basically going to do is once everything's incorporated, you're going to form them into balls and brown them on all sides in the frying pan on about medium heat. You don't want it any higher than that. And so again, like this is something fun you could do with your kids at home. And I always find that even with picky eaters, if you get them involved in the kitchen, a lot of the times if they're cooking their own food, what'll happen is they'll end up eating it or at least trying it. So while that's doing its thing, we're going to put together the sauce. You're going to start with 1 cup of water. You're going to have a 1/2 cup of ketchup, which of course does have sugar. You can replace it with tomato paste if you want, but whatever, we're doing maple syrup instead of sugar, so I feel like you can do that. You can add a 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. And then there goes your maple syrup. So 1/2 cup of maple syrup. You can add more or less according to your taste. I would start with a 1/2 cup. It does make it quite sweet, but when you have the apple cider vinegar, which makes it a little bit more, I don't know, like sour. So you don't really want to take away too much of the sugar. Then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Makes it a fun color. My son likes this. He thinks it's magic because it goes in and you don't really see it, and then you start to stir it and you're like, woo! Oh, look at that. You get so excited. And lastly, you're going to add your cornstarch. Some people like to stay away from corn products, so you can add arrowroot flour if you really wanted to. So our meatballs have almost completely cooked they have cooked on all sides. The middle will still be a little bit pink. So what we'll do is we're gonna add our sauce. So you'll just have to cover them all, and then they'll thicken up slowly. You can cook it for about, I don't know, maybe another 5-10 minutes, like big max of 10 minutes. You'll see the sauce will thicken right up, and then you're good to go. So our meatballs are all done. It's basically what you have to make sure of is that I'll usually take one off and make sure that it's cooked all the way through. It's not pink inside anymore. So you can eat it just like that, or you can definitely put it over rice. I like putting it over rice. I think rice is the best. That's it.
Wow.
All done.
Let's taste.
Very
Let's taste.
nice.
Have some.
Is that good?
It does not change the flavor at all when you put the Empowdered in any of your products. Like in any food you make,
This
I
is
love the
really
fact
good.
that you're sneaking it in.
This is
Amazing.
delicious.
Thank you
Elizabeth,
so much.
Thank you again.
Thank you for